You know a trip is going to be completely unforgettable when it starts with flying across the country to celebrate an incredible online community milestone and ends with a full-blown emergency landing. This was our ultimate trip to Alberta, and honestly, we are still processing everything that happened. Let's break down how this wild journey unfolded. Our adventure kicked off at the John C. Munro Airport in Hamilton, where we boarded our flight with Porter Airlines right from the start. The entire crew was incredibly polite and attentive. Porter offers a variety of onboard food, but the absolute highlight of flying Porter, they actually offer complimentary premium snacks along with free wine and beer served in real glassware. It felt so luxurious for a domestic flight. We have to give a massive shout out to our flight attendant Connor for keeping us completely comfortable, relaxed, and stress free all the way to Calgary. Cheers to incredible service. We landed quite late at night and headed straight to our base, the Grand Hotel and Conference Center. After catching a super peaceful, much needed night of sleep, we woke up early to check out our complimentary breakfast. The spread was massive with a ton of variety, but the real morning surprise was right outside in the open field directly behind the hotel. We discovered a whole colony of little wild prairie dogs popping up and running around. It was the cutest, most unexpected welcome to Alberta. Now, the main heartbeat of this entire trip was two beautiful humans getting married and finally meeting our flock community. For years, we've connected online, so finally getting to step off the screen and meet up in person was surreal. We met up with Holly from Apparently and Lorna, whose social media account is Fartbird. We also felt the love from Carolyn, our dear friend and Aunt Birdie, to everyone who moderates our live broadcasts and constantly keeps our chat safe from negativity. We took Lorna out for some fun shopping, and later on, we met up with Stephanie and her husband Anthony, another social media star of Stephanie's fabulous flock. And another incredibly dear friend, Sarah. Sarah works so hard alongside with Carolyn and Kate to ensure our live streams are a safe, happy space for everyone. Hugging these internet friends in real life truly felt like a massive family reunion. The night before the big day, the bride and groom hosted a massive backyard pre-wedding barbecue at their house. They welcomed an incredible crowd of wonderful friends and family, and the food spread was absolutely poetry. They had hamburgers, hot dogs, sandwiches, fresh salads, and a massive fruit and veggie tray, and an amazing assortment of desserts. Standing in the backyard, sharing a meal, and listening to everyone laugh together really set a perfect warm tone for the weekend ahead. But the absolute highlight of the night happened the exact second we arrived. We got a big warm hug from Emily and Kyle, and it was so surreal to finally meet our dear friends at their house for their upcoming wedding. Also, we finally got to meet Kate, our dear friend who also is a birdie auntie to all our flocks. She just arrived right in time for the barbecue after driving an epic 3-day road trip. Having her right there with everyone made the evening absolute perfection. And the true star of the backyard barbecue, I finally got to meet the famous Gizmo the Greybird in person. Let me tell you, as amazing as he is on screen, he is 1,000 times more adorable in real life. I was completely starstruck. Then came the main event, the wedding of Kyle and Emily, the wonderful parents of Gizmo the Greybird. The ceremony took place at the stunning Calgary Zoo, and the weather could not have been more flawless. Seriously, everyone looked absolutely incredible. The procession started with the groom Kyle being walked down the aisle by his proud mother Sheila. Then the bridesmaids and groomsmen made their way down. But the moment that brought a tear to everyone's eyes was seeing the beautiful bride Emily being walked down the aisle by her son Jace, who proudly gave his mother away. The ceremony was beautifully officiated by a dear friend named Shiloh, making the entire service incredibly sweet, personal, and unforgettable. Once the ceremony wrapped up, we were lucky enough to explore the zoo grounds and check out some animals before heading over to the reception hall. And let me tell you, the reception was an absolute blast. They treated us to a wonderful buffet with so many delicious items to choose from. The rest of the night quickly turned into a beautiful blur of snapping, endless pictures, crowded dance floors, and some highly competitive, hilariously passionate karaoke. We celebrated their love into the late hours of the night. The next day, we packed up and headed out to the legendary Banff National Park for some sightseeing. We made our way straight to Lake Louise, and honestly, pictures do not do this place justice. It completely takes your breath away. We were standing in front of the clearest, most vibrant neon blue water, framed by towering snow-capped mountains. It was hands down the most beautiful landscape I have ever witnessed. Getting to experience this iconic global landmark like this, alongside our beautiful friends Carolyn, Lorna, and Holly, was a true honor. After taking in the views, we drove into the charming town of Banff to explore the local shops. To top off a perfect day, the girls treated us to an absolutely delicious dinner in town. Thank you so much to my beautiful friends for such a generous and special evening. Unfortunately, the next day brought the hardest part of any trip, saying goodbye to our amazing friends until next year. We met back up at Kyle and Emily's house to take final group photos and exchange meaningful bird feathers from all of our respective flocks. I even got to share a special moment cuddling with Gizmo's little birdie sister, Bird. She practically took such a liking to me, rubbing her head against my neck to show her affection. It totally melted my heart. Eventually, we made our way to the Calgary airport, grabbed a bite to eat at the Flames Grill, and watched our Porter airplane arrive at the gate. We even got a fun sneak peek of the pilot standing by the window instructing the ground crew down below. We boarded smoothly with the help of an incredible, kind flight attendant named Greg. We settled into our seats, but shortly after takeoff, the vibe completely changed. A passenger on board suddenly entered a state of severe medical distress, creating an incredibly tense situation high in the air. Instantly, flight attendant Greg and the rest of the cabin crew and a heroic passenger with a professional medical background jumped into action. They worked together flawlessly to keep the patient calm and administer treatment the best they could. Because they had to deploy and completely use up every single onboard oxygen tank to keep the patient stable, our pilots had to make an emergency diversion landing in Manitoba. We touched down to meet awaiting medics who were ready on the tarmac. Once the patient was safe, we had to reboard a completely separate aircraft to finish our journey. As we finally prepared to head home, the entire cabin erupted into a massive wave of applause, showing our deep appreciation for how beautifully Greg and the crew and the medical passenger handled a terrifying crisis. From heartwarming reunions to life-saving teamwork in the clouds, this was a beautiful, wild trip we will never forget. See you all next year.